Hello everyone, welcome back to Dawn of Man. I'm Siege Plays, and this is episode 2 of 3 where I had to record voiceovers because I failed to check whether or not my microphone was still enabled. For some reason, OBS decided that it wasn't. So, we're just going to dive right on back in. Also, I wanted to apologize for the delay. My day job has been picking up again recently, so I've had a little bit less time to record and edit, but we are going to try and jump right back into the game here. I promise there'll be more episodes coming very shortly. So in the last episode, we went ahead and got our copper production set up. We are starting to create copper tools. I think right here I was reviewing our production and where we were going to go next with our tech. And I believe, if I remember correctly, we go for donkeys next. I made the mistake of saying that last time though, so we'll see. Looks like we're doing pretty well at this point on straw and grain. Grain we'll always start off doing better at because we have a limit on how much we use for bread, and we'll use a lot less of that over time. I mean, comparatively, compared to straw, anyway. And our population of animals is pretty small, so at this point I think I was considering expanding a little bit here. Yeah, I was trying to look at where I could lay out stables. And so I just had paused it so I could just, I wish there was like on some games you can do like a blueprint mode where you can put something down but pause the construction of it. This game does not have that option, which I think they kind of should add it, but I still like the way the game is for the most part, so can't complain too much. But here I was figuring out, whereas before I didn't think I could lay stables down, any more stables on this side in that area anyway. I've laid out 3 of them just to see where approximately I could lay them out, and then I decide, I think, to build the one that the cursor's on now. Maybe. Yeah, so I just wanted to lay them out to see where they could fit and then put that one there because I knew that I would remember to put the other stables next to it. So we'll have another one coming in here. And here I was explaining, I think, that we want to have at least 1 stable per type of animal, because eventually we'll get better stables and then you can hold 15 animals per. But obviously we have, 10 of each animal so far, goats and sheep, I mean. And, they reproduce in the winter, so you want to make sure that you have enough space for them, because otherwise they'll freeze or starve. So usually I like to have at least 1 type of stable, or 1 stable per type of animal. Eventually I'll probably do 2. But one of the cool things is when you get to donkeys and horses, and even cows, if they're attached to a plow or a cart, they don't actually have to be fed or kept in a stable. Don't really understand that, but it's just one of the mechanics here. I think here I'm analyzing the amount of sledges we have and what we're producing at the crafters, and whether or not we need 3 of those and only 1 workshop. Here we're analyzing the statistics of all of these things, because again, the flint and bone tools are about as effective as the bronze tools, or the copper tools. The bronze tools will be better. Here we're hoping for some of these trees to get chopped down so we can work on the wall a little bit. It'll get finished eventually. I promise. Our charcoal seems to be doing okay. That'll change once we have more ore coming in, though. Looks like we're still building a house in the background here. There's probably one across the river as well. See what the trader has for us. As always, we'll take the copper ore most likely here. Yep. We're running low on linen outfits, so we want to go ahead and spark a little bit more construction of that. Or not construction, but crafting of that. And we're going to trade wool cloth because it's worth more than just the wool itself. That'll mean that the weavers will... I mean, I think we have it set to an infinite production of that anyway, so they'll just continue producing that so we can use it for trade. It's a relatively good trade resource until we get better tools, because eventually those will be worth like 15. We're still running short on logs, so that stable will be a little while before it's built. Now here's an issue with what I did there, because I definitely explained this in this video, I think. With the rolling megaliths, we did that for the knowledge points, but the problem with that is the second we lay down something that requires megaliths, they're gonna go out, and it takes like 5 people per, so it's gonna increase the workload. So we have another band of raiders coming in. The defenses aren't finished, so it doesn't make sense to close the gates yet, but we're gonna go ahead and rally the people here. There's a lot of people already over on this side, so hopefully they'll get over pretty quickly. Not super worried about that unplanted field over there, because that's just pulses. They're not really super necessary right now. They usually come at the most inopportune times, so this time I was like, okay, whatever. It's winter, we're not doing too much. Most of our stuff that we needed planted was planted, so it's fine. Yeah, we really didn't have a whole lot of defenders over there for this group. Luckily, it was fairly small, and I don't remember if we lost anybody here. We lost a couple of dogs, unfortunately. And then we chased them down. But yeah, I was a little bit worried because we had so few defenders on that side. We lost our tower, for sure. But those things fall so easily. That's one thing. That's another thing. I think if I had them fix anything, I think it would probably be how quickly the defenses get torn down. Because they just fall so easily. Like the towers they look cool, but they feel almost useless because the amount of defenders that they hold and the speed at which they fall, even the reinforced ones later on, is just insane. So we did unlock donkey domestication. We don't have carts yet, and I think we probably should hold off on domesticating any donkeys just yet because we don't know how stable our straw production is. But it looks like, I mean, we're nearing the edge of the winter, or the end of the winter, so it's looking like we have plenty. I'd really like for them to finish these huts so we can beef up our population here. Because our workload is just, it's too high right now. We keep getting notifications. And I mean, you'll get notifications even at 100%, so. This old lady carrying a log. I love it. She's strong. All right, so we have officially made our first, oh wait, no, we've made our first 10 copper bars. We are running really low on sledges at this point, though. They're not really producing them very quickly. Oh, springtime has arrived. I mean, we're not super worried about getting those houses finished immediately. There's room for 9 more people, but I would like to grow the population. Our food is definitely stable enough at the moment that we don't have to worry about it. And I feel like food is a little bit easier to stabilize than some of the other things in the game. Ooh, that is a very, very high workload right now. 222%. But that happens when you add more fields. That's where it gets tough. This is where it starts to get tough to balance the workload just because the fields are gonna ratchet up the workload every year. I see they're chopping the trees down by the river. That's good. One of the houses is getting finished. We've got most of the materials for the other 2 buildings over there. That's good as well. Yeah, pretty soon these crafters won't really be necessary anymore. We can stop making some of the bone tools now because we are making especially the bone harpoons, because we're now making better fishing gear at the workshops. It's always trying to balance the use of resources so that we're not, running low on one or the other, or overusing any of them, I guess. Oh, we're actually really close. We only need mud for that one? Interesting. I didn't realize that mud was the thing that was holding us back here. I had assumed it would be logs since that seems to be the major problem here. We gotta put that other tower back up too. Eventually I'm gonna change the defenses on this side just because they're not very strong yet. We haven't really been attacked from that side very often. But I don't like, we need more of the platforms. Oh good, more people arrived. Lower that workload. We have another house going up. The other stables should be finished pretty soon as well. Yep, there we go. And every house that you build, by the way, I don't know if I've addressed this yet in this run through, but every house that you build and a lot of the buildings that you build each add to your prestige as your town grows. So that actually attracts more people more quickly. It attracts the raiders. Well, I think it attracts the raiders anyway. It definitely attracts the traders. Now our wool production is high enough right now that I don't think we really need to bump up the amount of sheep we have. We definitely have the room for them though. Because after this gets built, we're going to have the room for 50 animals and we've only got 20. But we definitely want to make sure we have enough for the donkeys when we start taming them. Speaking of which, now I think is about the time where I start looking to do so. And like I said, whenever you want to find a certain kind of animal, they always disappear. They always seem to disappear. You seem to see them a lot until you need them, and then all of a sudden they're hard to find. It's like the game knows. And then after you stop needing animals like sheep and goats, you'll see them everywhere. Lots of megaliths out this direction, actually. Lots of cows. We don't need those yet. I think those are deer, yeah, deer. Bears and whatnot. Megaloceros. Can't tame those. It's kind of weird that those are still alive, but I don't actually know when those went extinct in real life, so that wouldn't help me anyway. Look at all those plants we could be harvesting over there, though. There we go, okay. Found some donkeys. Let's go ahead and try and capture female, male, female. Awesome. A little bit of a balance there. Donkeys and horses are a little bit harder to maintain the populations because I think I don't know if they live longer or they take longer to reproduce or what, but it seems to be more of a challenge to get the population stabilized for those two animals. Found a couple more, that's good. As long as we get like 2 of each, we'll be okay. But I had a game where like I just could not stabilize the population of donkeys. It was up to like, we had like 40 of them and still somehow I ended up with just like all old males and females. And I was like, well, we gotta basically start from scratch at that point. And animals are pretty expensive with the trader, so, but it's worth it, you know, if you're having trouble maintaining the population because they're already adults, you don't have to wait for them to grow up. Lots of mines in that area. Wow, geez. A lot of flint. We don't really need that anymore, but that's good to know that that's like right behind our village, though. That's close enough that they're not gonna starve or freeze while they're going out to get those resources. All right, we're back to our farms, so we're on the other side of the river here. Looks like those are horses, which look very similar to donkeys in this view. I'll always confuse them. Yeah, I'm not really seeing any more. That should be good enough for now. As long as we can get, like I said, at least like two of each, should be fine. There's some piggies off to the side. Yeah, let's set the limits on these just to make sure that we keep like 20 of them. Because like I said, the ones that are attached to carts and whatnot won't need to be fed, so having 20 of them won't reduce our straw too much, but I think we probably will get another field going soon, as long as we can bump up the population here. I want to go ahead and get a bunch of sledges being made. just because they keep like running out like 5 at a time. Oh yeah, that's where I decide I want to get rid of one of the crafters because they're almost obsolete at this point, and we can just replace that with a workshop because we need the assistants making fishing gear and bows and all that stuff. It's funny the way that those got set up around there. I didn't realize that by queuing them up like that, they would form a square around the outside. Looks kind of cool though, almost like a fence. So most of our construction is complete. That's good. I really do like the way our town is shaping up though. Oh yeah, let's get rid of these. I think one mining trip should be enough to get rid of that, just so we can put something else in its place. Oh, yeah, that's a lot of copper there. Some linen. I think we're getting closer. Do we want the adults? I think we trade for these, if I remember correctly. Or maybe not. We don't really have like an abundance of resources to be trading for them yet. We're not like overproducing anything. Yeah, I guess we decided not to trade for them yet. I mean, we don't have any other ones captured, so it doesn't really make sense to have the adult females because even if we captured young males, by the time they grew up to be able to reproduce, the adult females would be old, I think, so timing just wouldn't work. It wouldn't be worth our resources. Hopefully they'll come tear this down soon. I think I went ahead and stopped producing stuff just to make sure that it didn't continue being used and bumped back in the queue. I want to know what the problem was with the linen outfits, though, why we had such an issue producing them, because we have plenty of linen and we created plenty of wool outfits. So I think at this point I was considering getting rid of the transport posts because they weren't really doing anything. I was seeing transports being, kept all over the map at this point, so I don't think I actually got rid of them though. The wheel is definitely our next plan because carts will help us a lot, especially when it comes to mining and carrying logs. Like, you'll see how many resources they can carry. Here I was looking to bump up our production of stuff so that we could get those knowledge points, and I realized that we needed to be producing those copper tools because we can get knowledge points for that. So we put down another metalsmith so we can get up to at least, the one knowledge point of, 10 of each of those things. And especially since we got rid of one of the crafters, we needed to bump up our production of tools and whatnot. Our fields are looking good. We're harvesting I think peas, if I remember correctly, those are peas. I usually like to plant peas first. I don't know why this was taking so long for them to recycle it. Our workload is lower now, so we should not be having this much of an issue of it. We're working on, it looks like we're working on capturing those donkeys. We don't have any yet. So I think we're getting ready to be to a point to where we can expand our town. I mean, it's taking forever for us to finish the walls, but pretty much as soon as that's done, I'm going to want to start building another layer so that we could extend our town out into that area, because we're kind of running out of room already. I think I wanted to put down one of these, and then at some point I need to put down another weaver, or not weaver, but outfitter, so that we can start making more of those linen clothes, because that's an annoying problem. they're finally getting rid of that, and I want to put this down, I want to squeeze it in as close as possible here. Oh. Okay, we could put a weaver in there, or an outfitter in there, and then we need to put down, I think I tried to click in an area there that didn't actually put it down. So we'll get rid of that, and we will try and lay them out a little bit better here. Put down the workshop. Can't. Okay, yeah, because it would create isolated areas. I want to make sure we don't trap people, so glad that the game lets you know. We should still be able to squeeze in both, yeah. It'll kind of create a little corridor where people can't get through, but half the time they walk through buildings anyway, so who knows if that'll actually stop them from walking that direction. Looks like we're mostly doing pretty good on storage. Oh, they're focusing on getting all these sledges done at the same time, which, again, that means they're all going to degrade at the same time, but now that we have this workshop, they'll be constantly producing them to keep up to the limit. They usually work pretty well, the workshops do, I mean. Looks like we still have a few people out capturing donkeys. Oh, they're butchering one of them, which means that they didn't catch it, but they decided to hunt it. I kind of hate that they do that. They're like, oh, well, if you escaped, I'm just going to go ahead and hunt you instead. And it's like, no, don't do that. Let me try again. They just start off like really bad at capturing and taming animals. Oh yeah, now we're creeping into the fall too, so it makes it even harder. Oh, we got one. Let's see if it's a male or a female. Female. Hey, okay, that's good. Let's hope we can keep a balance here. Gonna finish up this metalsmith over here. Looks like there's at least one donkey still that they're trying to capture, so hopefully, oh, that's two. One of each, yes. Like to see that. That means it will at least get the population started. We can buy from the trader or whatever, but we'll keep our eyes out for more of them. They're going to be invaluable, though, with the carts. They're going to be able to carry so much more. And more quickly, too. You saw how slowly that lady was carrying the log. The donkeys move a lot faster. Looks like we might struggle a little bit to harvest all of our crops this winter, or this fall, though. Let's go ahead and get them producing everything as well so we can get those points. And we're doing pretty good on most resources up there. It looks like we've hit most of our limits. They're not really using too much of the copper mines because we're currently over our limit anyway. That's why I try to buy from the trader all the time, to preserve the resources there. We might get everything this fall. Those are going to take a little bit to build. They're focusing on other things right now. Like all of these sledges that I had built at once. Not quite sure what I was talking about there. Whenever I'm the very few times that I've ever had to do this and I watch the mouse like spastically move around, I have no idea what I was talking about. Oh, we have a trader coming in again. It looks like they have pigs. I don't think we're ready for those yet. Our straw production is just not high enough to have other animals as well. We'll definitely take the logs because we're always running low on those. We're definitely not going to trade for the wheel because commission is high, and we just don't have the resources to spare for that. Linen cloth's about the best, and especially since we're not producing that much of the linen outfits. I feel like trading a little bit of the linen cloth is not a bad thing. Oh, yes, finish that up. Let's go. Albeit, you know, linen outfits are not quite as important as the wool outfits are, but your people will be more efficient with them, so it's good to have yourself up to the amount of people that you have. And once I stabilize our production a little bit more, I usually like to overproduce those things slightly. Just because that means, you know, especially when you have harsher winters, like I was playing around with the Northlands campaign just to see how hard it actually was, and it's pretty difficult. They wear out the wool clothing pretty fast, so having extra of that's always good. Oh, looks like we have some more people joining. You always know because they're basically in their underwear. Nice, 4 at a time. That's good. Our straw's still looking pretty good. We've got plenty of it to get us through this winter here, and it looks like we actually did manage to harvest all of it, or at least the vast majority of it. Let's go ahead and mark a couple of these for harvest just to have the extra. Why not, you know? Our workload's not that high. Doesn't hurt to have the extra straw. And grain, which we have like 200 something of. Got a lot of extra goats right now. They need to go ahead and take care of those. They will in the winter. The workload drops usually in the winter unless you have a lot of summer harvested crops. Just one log there. It's always the issue. At least they're keeping our buildings pretty well repaired, though. That doesn't seem to be an issue right now. We were having problems with that a while back. Now that we're not using skins, though, it's a little bit easier. Although now we're producing more skins than we need, but... Alright, so it looks like we are producing slowly but surely. You know, as we wear some of them out, we'll start producing more copper tools. Nowhere close to getting points for any of these, though. I mean, I could queue some up. I think it's probably time to get rid of this crafter as well. Or just to get rid of both. We're producing copper, so why not, you know? We have more than enough, so it's not like we're running low on copper. I usually like to try and balance it, but at this point, why? You know, we could start using the bones and the flint for trading, even though they're really not worth a lot. It helps to have every little bit, you know? Ready for them to be done with those sledges, though. Especially, we've got 73 people, so we need more sledges for our people. Usually like to have at least half of the adults have sledges so that they can be more efficient with their tasks. Yeah, they're getting the goats down. That's good. We only got 2 of those 6 donkeys, though. That's sad. I wanted more. Hopefully there'll be more that spawn in the spring. Yeah, it looks like we're only producing about 50% of the adults for axes and whatnot. Sickles I always want to be higher because I always have trouble harvesting enough, so I want to make sure everybody who can have one has tools. Alright, good. It looks like we're finishing up that workshop there. Another trader. Yeah, they come pretty often now. Hey, donkeys. Yes, okay. They have a lot of things that we need. Their commission's average, too, which is pretty good. We have plenty of linen, so be probably a good idea. Let's trade for the copper. Trade for the copper bar. Do I trade for the donkeys here? think it's a good idea too. We'll only trade for one of each though. We don't have a ton of resources to trade for. We have extra goats, so why not trade one of each of those? We're doing fine with those. Animals are worth quite a bit too. Might as well trade for the slings since we're not using those. And we don't need a ton of bows. They're good for hunting and for fighting raiders, but we can produce those relatively quickly and they're worth quite a bit. And we'll start bumping ourselves up to copper tools by getting rid of some of our lower level ones. It was pretty easy to get to that actually, without, shorting ourselves on a lot of things. Cool, so now we have one adult and one young of each, so that should get our population going pretty well, because they'll each produce, more than one child generally. More than one baby. But yeah, I think we're starting to balance out a little bit here. Our workload is a little bit lower. We've got plenty of tools. We've got plenty of other resources. I think just the linen outfits are where we're gonna continue to struggle for a little bit here. Taking those to the wall, I think. Yeah, there we go. Hey, okay, cool. We finally unlocked the carts, or the wheels, I guess, and now we can start producing carts for our people to move a little bit more quickly here. So those adult donkeys we have probably won't need to be fed right now anyway. We're only going to keep it to 10 right now, I think, because we aren't going to have enough adult donkeys to have more than that, and it wouldn't make sense to continue producing more. But yeah, I think that's probably a pretty good place to wrap it up. I think, unlocking that tech is good. We'll unlock the next ones in the next video most likely. And now tasks should be a little bit more efficient once we start having the adult donkeys. But thank you guys so much for joining yet again. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one, which is also going to have to be voice-overed, unfortunately. But after that, then it will be back to the live versions. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.